everyone. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to. I think we'll just start now. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another to Kazim Reading Group. So we've been looking at the book for 2 weeks now, Atomic Habits. Last week was very interesting. So we looked at the chapter around the surprising power of atomic habits. And one thing that, I mean, one key thing about from that review that was done last week is that um, us doing how 1% doing things bit by bit, some sort builds up, and we then begin to see results from all of those little efforts that we were making. For example, if we are trying to lose weight, going to the gym, it doesn't happen overnight, or trying to lose weight and you start a diet, it takes a while before you then begin to see the results and all of that. So today, we'll be reviewing another chapter of the book, Atomic Habits by James Clear, how your habits shape your identity and vice versa. And today we have a fantastic reviewer who will help us, who will be doing a summary of this chapter for us today. The person of Shamsuddin Udu, who would take us through this chapter, after which we will then leave the floor open for anyone that would like to contribute. So Shamsuddin, just confirm that you can hear me and you can,
Yes,
I'll
good
just
evening,
hand over the control.
everyone.
Yeah, I'll hand over the
Can you all
control.
hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, okay,
Thank
good everyone, and thanks for joining. This is my second time on this podium. The last time I was there was during when we review Power of the Mastermind. Now today we are reviewing Atomic Habits, and today is chapter 2 of the book, which talks about the power or how your habits shape your identity and vice versa. Now, we all set goals for ourselves. And when we set goals, one of those things that will drive us to achieve our goals are our habits. Invariably, the way we live our life is a reflection of our individual habits. So sometimes some of those habits are good, and sometimes some of those habits are bad. So we tend to change some of those habits and we tend to retain the good habits that we have. But we realize that oftentimes, according to James Clear, he made us realize that it's something that is known to everybody, that it is so easy to repeat bad habits and so hard to form good ones. It is something that is empirically, it does not need any theory again. It's something we have seen over time, that to repeat a bad habit or bad habits is very easy, and to form good ones is always very difficult. So when we set goal for ourselves, that okay, I want to read a book at the end of the month, okay, I want to lose weight, I want to quit smoking, I want to quit drinking, I want to stop womanizing. These are bad habits. Now, we find it difficult to stop these bad habits. One of them is procrastination. Like, I will do this, I will do this, I will do this. Realize that we keep on repeating the same bad habits. Now, because we are repeating bad habits now, it makes it difficult for us to form good ones. Now, James Clear made us realize that the reason why it is very, very easy for us to repeat bad habits and why it's sometimes difficult to form good one is he gave us two reasons. But in this chapter, we are going to talk about one. In the subsequent chapters, then he explain to us the second reason. And the first reason is what? He said, why it is so easy to repeat bad habits is because we are changing the wrong thing. We are changing the wrong thing. At the end of this review, we were able to agree with him clear that what he has said is actually correct. We are changing the wrong thing. Now, he now give us some solution that, okay, we have identified why it is easy to repeat bad habits and so hard to form good ones, such that when we set goals for ourselves, sometimes I find it difficult to achieve our goal. I want to read a book at the end of every month. I must read the book at the end of every month. I must go to the gym every weekend in a month. These are goals we set for ourselves. But at the end of the month, we find it difficult, we are unable to achieve the goal we set ourselves, that I want to read a book at the end of the month. I hope you know able to achieve that. I don't go to exercise over the weekends throughout the month. So like that. So of those goals we have set for ourselves, we find it difficult to achieve those goals. So our outcomes, the time shows that we are not able to achieve those goals. And has told us that the reason why it is so is that we are changing the wrong thing. In our continue that he gave us a better approach how we can solve this issue. Mr. Kazim, please, I want to share my screen. I don't know if you can permit me to share my screen. Mr. Kasim. Ifoma, can you hear me? Ifoma.
Yes, we can hear you loud and
Okay.
clear.
I want to share my screen. Can you give me permission to share my screen?
Please make the request. We'll do that. Are you the one using support?
Yes, I am.
Please make the request again. I actually declined it because it was
Okay.
not a known name.
Okay. Let me do.
So you can go ahead to share your screen. Yes, you can share your screen now.
Okay, thank you. So
Stop.
is it the OC doesn't allow you
Okay.
multiple presenter sharing screen at the
You
same
can
time?
go
Okay.
ahead to share now.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So in addressing that first problem, it now gave us the 3 layers of behavioral change. If you look at the 2 diagrams on the screen, we have the outcomes, the process, and the identity. Now, it made us realize that the outcome is, this focuses on the results that we want to achieve, the goals we have set for ourselves. That is where we measure it, the outcomes. Okay, am I able to read a book at the end of the month? Am I able to go to the gym every weekend? So the goals we have set ourselves, the measure is being determined by the outcomes. Now the process is, this involves all the systems that we have put together to achieve our goal. The goal of becoming a runner, the goal of becoming a musician, any goals we have set ourselves. So the process level involves those systems we have put together to achieve those goals. And the identity now involves the results of who we want to be. And this, it says that this is the most impactful layer of this behavioral change. Now, if you look at these layers, it shows that we start from the outcomes to the process and to the identity. And that is the reason why it is so easy to repeat bad habits and what? To form good ones. According to James Clear, he now gives us alternative. That's to actually achieve a behavioral change. We should not start from the outside circle. We should start from inner circle. That is, we start from identity to process, then to what? To outcome. You may realize that for us to achieve a behavioral change, the first thing is we should determine within ourselves the identity we want to be. If you're able to determine the identity you want to be, all other things will fall into place. Take, for example, somebody that says he wants to be a scholar, or somebody that says he wants to be a reader. Every week that we come here together to review books, you see because he has assumed the identity of a reader, whether he's reviewing a book or not, he will take it as his responsibility to read each chapter, whether it's going to contribute or not. Because he has assumed the identity of a reader, you will see him reading each chapter every week. Because he has assumed that identity of a reader, now reading each chapter now become a normal thing to him. Unlike somebody that said, I want to be a reader. He may decide not to read the book since he's not reviewing the book for each week. For 5 weeks, he can attend the class, listening to what people are saying about the book. He may actually want to read, but the time may not be there. So because he wants to be a reader. But someone that assumed an identity of, yes, I'm a reader, regardless of whether he's reviewing or not, whether he's going to join the class or not, the person will see it as a duty upon himself to read, and he's continuing to read. It forms part and parcel of him. Even if there's not going to be any class during the weekend, you see him find something, I need to read, because that has formed part of it. So we can see the approach James Clear gave us, that if you want to start from the outcome to process your identity, you will not be able to achieve what you want to achieve. We will be able to achieve the goals we set ourselves. Because, like we said, to form good habits is always very difficult. But I said, let us start from identity-based habits. You assume yourself as a reader, as a scholar. That's like when we are in school. You know that sometimes we are writing exam, we see people they cram to go and write exam, because the aim is the outcome. They start from the outcome. The goal is I want to pass this exam, and the only thing is they read, they cram, and they point and they pass. After the exam, that's the end. Years later, ask them to come and discuss about that thing, they can't do it again. But a scholar does not read for exam alone. He read all the time. That reading culture has formed part of his life. And years later, ask him to come and discuss what he did many years ago. The person will be able to do it. Of recent, my daughter came from summer coaching, said they are doing simultaneous equation. This is what I did around 1994. And I was telling him everything has to do with simultaneous equation. He was surprised. Because then I was not just using it to let me just do this thing and go and pass the exam. But as if, yes, I'm a scholar on this thing. I need to know this thing. So, and as such, reading materials to have more knowledge about it becomes part of me. So that is one of the approach that James Clear gives to us, that we should assume the identity of the person we want to be. Then it makes it easy for us to form good habits and what to do with bad habits. He gave us a scenario of two people that are planning to quit smoking. The first person was asked. He said, "No, thanks. I'm trying to quit." the person is waiting for an outcome. Is using the outcome-based habit. I'm trying to quit smoking. But second person says, no, I'm not a smoker. It has assumed the identity of somebody who is not a smoker. And as so, if there is a smoker, you can't see him moving close to anything, either cigarettes or lighter. But someone who is trying to smoke, it may be that, okay, he's into smoking maybe 10 sticks per day. Okay, I'm trying to quit it. Okay, maybe let me to 7, 6, 5, blah, 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 blah. But somebody was assumed the identity of somebody that is not a smoker. It will be easier for him to drop that habit and form good. So, and that the difference is that the identity-based habits last longer than outcome-based habits. Now, we should know that every action we take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. Every action we take. If you look at Ronaldo today and Messi, let me take Ronaldo for example. Ronaldo is a global figure. To some fans, they call him greatest of all time. He has some outside the pitch. There's something that is synonymous to Ronaldo, and that is you can never see him tattoo on his body. And the reason he said so that it's easy for him to donate blood. You can see the identity of the person that he has assumed to be for a very long time. So because he has assumed the role of somebody that yes, at any point, at any time, if there is need for him to donate blood, it is easier for him to donate blood. So it is easy for him to drop the habit of saying I want to do that, because if you don't want tattoo in your finger today, tomorrow you do on your head, tomorrow you do every part of your body. So he has assumed that identity for a very long time, and it was easy for him to leave those bad habits. In a recent, some years ago, he was to do a press conference. They gave him Coke and water. I said to take a bottle of water and drink Pepsi and water. I said to take water because he's a sportsman. He has assumed, yes, I know I'm a sport person. I'm a fit person, and as such, it is easier for him to anything that will affect his fitness to move from it. But if someone that yes, I want to be a sportsman, I want to be a fit person, you are not even sure, it will be difficult for you to draw some of those things. Taking junk food and some other things, it will be very difficult because, like we said, bad habits are always difficult to drop. It's easier for us to repeat it. So every action we take is a vote for the type of person we wish to become. So if you want to be a reader, then you have to start reading. If you want to assume the role of a public speaker, a competent public speaker, then what do? Then you have to start speaking. If you want to assume the role of a writer, identity of a writer, then you have to start writing. Note that it is not a radical change. It is something that is gradual. Like we said, every action we take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. Just like if you are doing election, if people are coming to vote, the more people come to vote in your favor, the more your chances of winning an election. So every step we take is a vote for the type of person that want to achieve. So when we come here every weekend to review books, let us take the identity of a reader, so that whether we are reviewing, we are not reviewing, we are moderating, we are not moderating, we read it, because I'm very sure the reason why this mastermind group, this kind of was created, was to inculcate that reading habit in us. And the only way it can be inculcated is when we assume the identity of a reader. Then the habit of reading book on a weekly basis will be very, very easier for us. But if we don't assume that identity, we want to Focus on the outcome. Hey, I want to read a book. Realize that at the end of each week, there will be excuses that will devour us for what? From reading those books. So let us take the identity of what? Of a what? A reader. Now, like I said, you don't need to be perfect. You only need to keep on casting your votes. We don't need to be perfect. You only want to keep on casting your. And when we say cast your vote, that is those small habits that is in tandem with your identity. You keep on doing it on a daily basis. On a daily basis. You don't need to rush. You don't need to rush. Just do what? Gradually, gradually, gradually. Rally does not just become a global phenomenon today. Mercy does not become a global phenomenon today. It was what? A gradual stage over the what? Over the years. Now, by the time your identity now become part and parcel of you, realize that you are no longer fighting your old self, but bad habits are not easy to change. Like we said, bad habits are not easy to change, but you are not fighting your old self because of what? Because of the identity you have assumed, it has made those habits that in the same space with your identity that has made them what? Easier for you. If not that, like we said, bad habits are not always what? Easy to change. So, my respected listeners, we should know that true behavior change is what? Identity change. True behavior change is what? Identity change. We should focus not on what we want to achieve, but what we want to become. That should be our focus. Focus on what we want to become, and not what we want to achieve. Because what we want anything we want to achieve, because of the problem associated with changing bad habits, it will be difficult for us to get that outcome. But we focus more on our identity. Before we know it, those habits will form part of us seamlessly. They become what? Part of our life. Because when we believe in your identity, your habits will follow you naturally. If you believe your identity, yes, I'm a reader. To read book will hungry you. If you believe I'm a public speaker, to be practicing public speaking would be something you always love to be. So, my listener this evening, our take home is that for us to have a behavioral change, let us focus on identity-based habits and not what? Outcome-based habits. I hope I'm able to convince and not to convince you that identity-based habit is far, far better than what? Outcome-based habits. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Shamsuddin. This has been a very interesting, very, very interesting chapter. And thank you so much for that review. Like Shamsuddin has said, it's difficult for us to change bad habits. I mean, it's difficult for us to stop doing to change a bad habit, to stop doing the wrong thing, and for us to start doing the right thing. What do we need to do? For example, I mean, he cited the example of two smokers that said that they don't wanted to smoke. One was made a conscious effort not to be seen as a smoker, while the other one was more concerned, was not even trying to identify himself as okay, I'm not a smoker. So I think in one thing that we have taken from this particular chapter, please, if you want to speak, go ahead and raise your hand, is that what do we want to see ourselves as? For example, I want to be a doctor that will, save lives and do exploits, for example. What are the things? So you're not just saying that I want to go to school and just be a doctor. You're also saying that you just want to be a doctor. You want to be able to be standard. And what are those steps that you want to, take to ensure that you are able to achieve that, goal that you set out. I mean, like he said, little changes, I mean, habits, little changes at the end of the day makes you to achieve I mean, that goal, that result that you desire. Nothing is built overnight. I mean, I just like he mentioned, this Kaizen reading group was formed just to revive the reading culture. And I mean, maybe yeah, partially, even I'll say partially, I'm guilty about it. For us to start reading, every time we finish a book, we do a poll for people to, I mean, say the book that I want to choose a book that I want to read, and we sort of revive the culture. So, I mean, I think this just means more like saying that am I just here to just form part of the group, or I actually want to be reading to become a reader. I actually want to all of these books that we are reading, I want it to actually impact my life and not just me just being part of the group or just joining and not being interested or not reading the book. I think it's just for us to, each and every one of us to just go back and say that, okay, yes, this group is, I mean, I'm happy to be part of it. What am I going to do? What efforts am I going to make to ensure that I'm not just joining this group, but I'm actually a reader. I'm actually taking steps to be better. I'm actually trying to practice all that is in this book, in these books that we read every time. I think it's like the fourth or fifth book that we are reading now. So what are those things that we should actually do? Just such that we should act like that's what says in this chapter, that we should be more concerned about the identity. What do we want to be identified as? And not just the outcome or the process that will be the process, but more about the identity. What do I want to be known for? Um, what do I want to be known for? So not just, I mean, I just don't want to be someone that is a passerby. I want to be known as someone that is actually taking part, is actually contributing, and also enjoying the books that we are reading week on week. So like if you want to be, I mean, there's different instances also in this chapter that speaks to I want to be a writer. What do I need to start doing if I actually want to be a writer? I want to be a public speaker. What are the steps that I need to take? What do I want to be known for? What are those things that I need to do so that when I'm able to become that which I want to be? So that we should focus on being on the identity or what we want to be known for. I think this has been a very interesting chapter and a reflecting chapter for me. And I don't know, I don't know about anyone, but I can't see any hands up, and it's exactly 8 o'clock on the dot. And I think it's a good time for us to wrap this session. And just to mention again, please follow us on all our social media handles, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and on Instagram and all of that. I can see Mustafa's hand up. I think maybe we should just take him before we go. Hi, Mustafa, please go ahead and unmute your mic. We'll just give you 1 second.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thanks for having us here. And being here every Saturday is actually what I usually look forward to. Even though I don't get to like be present every day, but it has been on my mind. And moving forward, I think I'm going to have to like shift from thinking I want to join to actually joining. So because one thing that is important about reading books is being able to like, implement what we are also reading. I think that is the most important thing. And that brings me to what I want to talk about today, which is two things. Number one is the power of consistency. And the second one is actually difference between motivation and what's it called? Motivation and discipline, yes. So we should try as much as possible to actually be disciplined and not be motivated, because over the time, what 1% change, just like what James Clear said in the book, that 1% change every day for the next 365 days is going to be like 3 point something, 35 point something percent of change. Yeah, we should have the mindset of that compound effect of our habit. if you want to change from a bad habit to good habit, it's not what we can actually get done at a time. It is what that little things that we have been that we do every day for the next couple of days or months is what is going to like come together and be the change that we actually have been looking forward to. So thanks for having me, and
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mustafa. I mean, I think it's a good time for us to just to wrap this up and maybe just for us to go and reflect and look at what are the things that we need to do to basically what do you want to be identified as? What are those things that we want to do? And basically taking steps one day at a time to make just those changes such that at the end of the day we get the desired goal outcome that we are looking for. So basically I think just for us to go back and just reflect on this very interesting chapter. Thank you so much, everyone, and do enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you same time next week, Saturday.